Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about deadheading garden phlox. I'm going to tell you why deadheading phlox is a good idea, show you what you're going to need, and walk you through exactly what you need to know to keep your phlox blooming as much and as long as possible this gardening season. So let me get right to it. Thanks so much for watching. So first things first, you're going to need some tools. I've got myself a pair of clean clippers or secateurs here. You probably could use scissors as well, but I like these guys. They're nice and sharp. They do the job well, and you just want to make sure they're clean so you're not transmitting any kind of disease from plant to plant. And then you can choose to wear some gardening gloves if you want. I'm not going to use any. I'm not too afraid of phlox, so I'm just going to use my bare hands, and I'll wash them before and after, of course. So deadheading phlox will encourage the plant to focus its energy on creating new blooms instead of focusing in on creating seeds here to where the blooms have already passed. So the plant is essentially trying to reproduce by creating seeds. And so if we remove the possibility of it creating seeds by deadheading, it's going to push out more flowers to then hope for another try at reproduction. So that's why it's a bit of a trick, but it's a good trick. It's a trick that's going to encourage more flowers and then also support more pollinators longer throughout the season. And then we can let those flowers stay. We'll leave the ones on later on in the season. Those can be left on to develop seed, and then they can feed the birds throughout the winter, drop some seed, encourage more reproduction that way. But in the meantime, let's get some more flowers by deadheading this plant. So we are going to deadhead all of these flower stalks. All of these where the flowers have passed. And then we've got a couple left down here. I might leave this guy right down here, but we're going to cut them all back so that this plant can focus its energy on producing some more blooms. So let's start with this guy. We're going to cut back to where we see new growth starting on the stem. So right in here, you can see we've got some new stems forming. These are going to create shoots, and we might get flowers there. You can cut it back even further if you like. We've got more shoots coming out here and more down here, but you don't want to go so far that there's no little side shoots. See down here, there won't be as many. So you definitely want to keep those guys on. Those are going to be closer to flowers and closer to you enjoying those beautiful blooms sooner than later. Okay, I've got my nice clean clippers, and I'm just going to cut just below the flowers here, being careful not to clip off the new growth. And there you have it. It is so super simple. I have heard, but have not tried yet, that these here you can then root. So this apparently roots quite well. You can just take off some of this growth here and then stick this in water, and then maybe you'll even get some new phlox from that. So I'm going to give that a try and see how that goes. If you've done that before, I would love to hear from you. So I probably will be cutting off some of the seed here so that it'll focus on growing roots and, again, not the seed. So that's my next experiment, but let's cut off the rest of these guys here. So here's a really good example. The blooms have all passed up here, and then we've got new growth right here, and just above there, that's where we're going to clip. Trying not to clip off any of the other healthy plant matter. Toss it down in there, and we're done. This guy's passed as well, so we're going to cut him off right at the stem. These little ones seem to be a little trickier. So I'm actually just going to take these spent flower heads and toss them kind of down in there. They're well hidden. No one's going to see them, and they're going to add to the nutrient matter of the mulch and the soil. So that can just kind of all decompose naturally. And if they actually do create seed on those little seed heads and create more phlox in my garden, then that will just make me even happier. So that's what I'm going to do with my spent flowers, except for a few that I'm going to do my little experiment on propagating. So here we go. We've got the spent flowers, and then I see new growth right here. I'm going to cut just above that. Toss that down in there. This guy is done too. He's a little trickier to cut. Back here, same deal. Let's do this one back here. We've got lots of new growth right here. There's some new growth here, but I'm going to help this plant focus all on these guys. All right, so we're going to clip right above there. Down it goes. And on this one back here, we've got some new growth that you can see right there. right here. So we're going to cut above that and not cut off the new growth. There we go. Bye-bye. And there we have it. We're all done. It's tied it up very nicely, and hopefully we'll have some lovely new blooms before the end of the season. And then we'll leave those ones on for the birds to enjoy over the winter and to leave some winter interest. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found the video interesting and helpful. If I missed anything, if you have extra tips to share, be sure to put them in the comment section below so we can all learn from each other. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more tips and lots of gardening adventures along the way. Thanks again and happy gardening.